So I'm fucked. But you know what? F*** them. But you know what I'm working on? I'm working on what I think is a pretty sound philosophy. You know, I'm working on the basis that these guys need to wrap me and others in cotton wool. You know, I should have a bloody escort. Because even if I meet with the most unfortunate accident, nobody's going to believe it. And my DVDs are going to sell better than Elvis records. And I'm reliant on you to make that happen. But I have no plans. But let's take a look at a couple of other examples here. Because it says, there is a real danger, this is a quote from Sean Gadd from the Libertarian Society. He says, there's a real danger that opposition to EU policies could make an individual liable to arrest. For example, get this, if Brussels adopts a hardline stance on climate change, it's conceivable that someone who broadcasts their skepticism of climate change may be accused of committing an environmental crime because they have undermined the EU's efforts to save mankind. I mean, this is I mean, never in my wildest dreams did I believe or think that I would ever see this kind of crap in the British media. And we still think we live in a free society. Come on. You know, we are now on the threshold of a totalitarian state. But you know what gives me tremendous confidence is, you know, just like at AV3, we were still talking about, you know, the climate change and how outrageous it was that the agenda was being promoted. What happened 2 weeks later? The East Anglia emails were released and Copenhagen was totally undermined. So, you know, we are getting a lot of help. This is a quote, it's often attributed actually to Abraham Lincoln, but I think it actually, the origins of it go back to Edmund Burke, who was a philosopher of the 18th century. He said, those who don't know history are destined to repeat it. You know, so the onus is on us to actually revisit what we thought we knew about history and actually get through the bullshit, through the official version of events, which, by the way, the US are trying to change because they've introduced legislation that all children's books printed pre-1986 have to be destroyed. I kid you not. And the reason is because the ink that was used when they were printed contains lead. So they have decreed in the US that all children's books in libraries, school libraries, homes, printed pre-1986 have to be destroyed. This is the sort of 21st century equivalent of the destruction of the Library of Alexandria. Unbelievable. You know, I started the presentation with a quote that Steiner used in The Karma of Untruthfulness, and here's another quote that he made in a series of presentations that he gave, I think, between about 1909 and 1913. And he said, he who would create the new must be able to endure the passing of the old in full tranquility. And I ask you to reflect on that. Because what that means is that we have to get beyond any kind of emotional attachment to the crap that's about to occur. We've got to be able to elevate ourselves beyond that and see that what's occurring is going to occur for a very good reason. Just the same as when, you know, trauma occurs in our lives, our personal lives, you know, we have to get through the wounded child phase, the victim phase, and recognize that actually it's occurring for a reason, because something is dead, needs to be swept away, and then we need to go through the initiation and get on to whatever the next level is. And that's exactly what is occurring right here. So, you know, 11/11 has a very great significance to many people. Not least, perhaps, because the moment of the winter solstice in December 21st, 2012, occurs at exactly 11:11, and that's according to the United States Naval Observatory. So it's definitely time to wake up, and I will expand much more on the final statement at a future AV event. It's time to wake up and dream the future. Okay, now I'm going to close with something that was put on the board outside. Some of you may have read it, but many of you won't. But I think this is very powerful, and I want to share it with you. I have no idea who wrote it. I think it says Dan, but that might not be the case. But I want to share this with you, and I hope you appreciate why. It's called Who is to Blame? We are the starving, the meek, and the poor. We are the victims of your conflicts and wars. We are the people struck down with the AIDS, a hidden surprise in the vaccines you gave. We are the children who die 10 a penny, casualties of progress for your world of plenty. We are the homeless you step over in the street. I am the crazy ranting lady whose eyes you won't meet. We are the youth, disenchanted and angry, with asbos and hoodies and a disengaged family. We are the natives whose water you soured, whose trees you cut down and land you devoured. We are the people displaced from our lands because laws can be broken for a corporation so grand. We are the creed, an entire race you're erasing with your illegal bombs filled with depleted uranium. But these weapons aren't selective. Yes, you're killing yourselves or your soldiers, their wives and their children as well. Because we are the cancer that plagues your society. With diabetes and infertility, we gain notoriety. We are the workers whose jobs are all lost because the Chinese can do it for a far lesser cost. We are the victims of your financial crash. Homes taken, bankrupted, left scratching for cash. We are the people who bailed out the banks. Are they ours? Do we own them? Do we get any thanks? No. They continue to screw us and charge for the service. IMF, the World Bank, they have a sinister purpose. We're not pointing the finger or passing the blame. We don't want your guilt, your pity, or your shame. We don't want your money you're so eager to lend because we won't be indebted or slaved to your trends. We just want a playing field that's level and fair, to know the rules of the game and to have an equal share. We just want the freedom to live our lives as we please, to run our own country and to fish our own seas. So we'll print our own money and we'll choose our own leaders and we'll no longer stand for the bullshit they feed us. We'll grow our own food and make our own diesel and have no further dealings with your corporate evil. We'll take back what's ours, the banks and the trains, power companies, the roads, no more corporate gains. Your time, it's nearing through our struggles and pains because we, the people, we're tired of your games. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Ian R. Crane.